Good morning. It's Dave, and I am drinking out of my enormous coffee cup some of you have kidded me about. It's actually, if you hold it next to my actual head, it's not any larger than my head. And the rule is never drink or eat anything larger than your head. And I'm in the clear because nothing's larger than my head. But anyway, I'm just beginning to wake up, so if it takes me a minute to get rolling, don't worry. There is caffeine in this stuff, and it will catch up. So the deal is, I wanted to thank you guys for the amazing response I had to that little piece that I wrote and put up on the community page. I forget about that community page for months at a time. And I just happened to be in the coffee house that morning. I got there and everybody was dressed up like Halloween. I got there to do my writing, which I do in the first thing in the morning most days. And it was obviously Halloween. And I thought, oh, God, this is my dad died 10 years ago today. So I wrote that piece and I just put it up there, and I just, it's just the thing I just dashed off and posted on Facebook and got back down to my work. And I thought maybe I'll share it on the community thing. So I did that real quick, and then I got back down to working on the thing that I was working on, and didn't think about it for hours and hours. And I went back over there, and there's literally thousands of you people, a small number of thousands, I think it's 2,800 or something like that, have bothered taking time out of your day to read something coming out of my brain, and I'm really touched by that. We get videos that are big, but I realize an awful lot of that has to do with the fact that we're inside of a big giant culture war here, and a big political battle. And so it's not necessarily interest in me personally as it is interested in what's happening in the battle. But I do realize that I am, being embraced by you guys in some way as a human being as well. And I want to know that I think of you guys that way too. And the most recent piece I did on Obama, oh my God, the hate, because I didn't, just hate him back to back. I didn't just do the video and then just mock him and hate him from top to bottom. There was an awful lot of people, that were just very, very, very angry. And I mean, this whole thing about his, he's married to a transsexual or whatever, and he's a Kenyan Muslim and all this. He's the worst president we ever had. Well, he may be the worst president we ever had, but I don't get into hating people personally. I really don't. I mean, there are a few people that I feel a great deal of frustration and a great deal of anger toward, just the sort of hive mind of the left. But I realize that human beings get into doctrines. I'm really angry at the doctrine. I'm angry at the bad ideas. I'm angry at the control freaks who are running the hard left. And I'm angry at the people in the middle on the left who have allowed these people to run their party. I mean, it would be as if we were to let the alt-right guys with torches in Charlottesville speak for us. So, I mean, the job really of all of us is to get rid of that little hard edge at each end. We got to get rid of ours. They got to get rid of theirs. And in order to change minds, you can't yell at people. I mean, that's been proved very, very clearly to me. When I was a voting Democrat, I would just see the abuse that my fellow Democrats would just lay on anybody to the right of them. And I thought, but you're never going to change a mind doing that. I mean, because some of the ideas in the Democrat Party at the time, I responded to, and I thought were good ideas. And I thought, no wonder people are turning away from you and becoming more and more hardliner. You're giving rise to an oppositional energy by treating them poorly. That's not how you change a mind. You change a mind by treating people well and disagreeing, and then making a better case for your point than they were able to make for their point. And if they come out of it thinking, well, that guy wasn't mean to me, and he kind of changed my mind a lot. I met Larry Elder recently, and I spoke to him about what Dave Rubin has said about him, because Dave Rubin was considered himself to be on the left until he met Larry Elder. And Larry Elder, the way that Dave Rubin says it is that he just beat me senseless with facts, or something very close to that. And I told Larry that I'd heard Dave said that a lot of times, and that wanted to give him his props for it, and Larry just laughed, and he said, "That's the way you do it. That's the way you do it. You have to have your ducks in a row. You have to. If you go on a left-wing person's show, treat them with respect, be grateful to be there, and then tell them everything you've learned about why their ideas aren't good." So we want to change minds, don't we? I mean, I think we do want to change minds. Now, I will admit, some of the people that listen to this channel, unless they consider themselves to be on the front row of, on the front line of a big battle. Hang on a second, I need coffee. And unless I am handing them a hand grenade or a string of bullets, what do you call those things? I don't know. But unless I'm handing them ammunition with which to destroy the other side, they would just as soon I shut up. And they'll tell me that. And sometimes people will, if I say something that isn't absolutely in opposition to every single idea, people will unsubscribe the channel. And I think that's fine, really, because they're not ready for any sort of discussion. But I am. I'm ready for discussions. I have been fighting really hard. And if you look back on my earlier videos and toward the ones that I'm doing lately, you can see that there is some softening. I liken myself to the guy with a 4-pack a day smoking habit who quits and then can't talk about anything but the negative aspects of smoking. When I finally felt myself run forcibly out of the Democrat Party just by people just being so mean to me every time I would say, "Oh, wait a minute, let's look at abortion or any other issue," excuse me, through the other lens. Okay, imagine that you are a person that lives here and this is the way you feel, this is your church upbringing, and you're seeing, say for example, abortion, you're seeing it as the ongoing genocide of babies. How could you have any other moral stance except to oppose it? Unfriended, blocked. There is no other discussion to be had here. If I see you at a party, I will shun you. And this is what happened to me for several years, as I was just wanting to talk about the ideas in an open way and just understand the other side. But I started understanding the other side well enough to realize I actually belong on the other side. And that's when I moved off to the right. And so what do I want to do? Do I want to say, I got out, screw the rest of you guys? Or do I want to say, look, I'm going to explain these ideas as best I can. And that's why I'm trying to get this thing going. I've written some of the pieces called Letter to a Liberal, but I want to do like a fancy handwriting intro, and I haven't gotten the skills yet to make that. Letter to a Liberal. Da-da-da, little music, and then I start talking about what it is. And I want to just take case by case. Excuse me. And the body is waking up. And just take case by case on different points and make a better argument than I think that they've heard. So that's how you change a mind. And the thing is, if we want to stop the country from drifting into a one-party place like has happened in Los Angeles, we have to, or California. California is now a one-party state. There's plenty of Republicans live here. There's just not plenty enough of them to ever elect anybody but Democrats, except in the reddest counties, and there's few people living there and the influence is small. But we will not prevail in national elections, and we will not prevail with the Supreme Court and just a general constitution-based outlook if we do not change minds. So make sure this is working. I've got these little headphones in here. I've been having trouble with the sound lately. I'm trying to improve things. I've also got a little light hanging up here that's staring me in the face. It's run by batteries. It's a little newer 176 bulb LED light. I've got it stuck up there. I'm trying to figure out lighting and things like that here, so bear with me. If that thing should start getting really dim, it's because it's running on a battery. So anyway, the goal is not to make other people go, "Oh man, they shamed me," or for us to go, that was a radical chop on that guy. That was a sick burn on him. That's not the role. The role is to get as many people as possible to consider our values. And if we want to be serious about this and really change some minds and then change the direction of the country back, toward a more I don't want to say right wing, because really it's not right wing. It's just common sense. Because the left has gotten so far out. So anyway, we won't go into that anymore. But anyway, recently I was given a grant of money from a guy who's in the tech industry, and he's got lots and lots of money, likes the channel, admires what we do here, and wants to support it. And he gave us a chunk of money, and Jason and I, being independent of one another, basically we split it down the middle because he gave it to the channel, and I took my half and I put it in a special bank account, and I'm going to use that money only for events which are aimed at getting people from both sides to be in the same room at the same time and to share a common humanity. So the first one of those is coming up. I've booked 2 shows, and these are going to be musical events, and I'm performing, and I'm also going to be there to meet people and say hello if anybody's interested in coming out and meeting me. This is in Southern California, of course. But the other guy that is going to be performing is a guy named Kevin Fisher, and I'm telling you, this is one of the best singer-songwriters that I've ever had the opportunity to meet. And not only that, he's just a wonderful guy. Now, he is center-left, like I was center-left. And he and I have discussed many things, and in person and online, and disagreed about things. And Kevin has never once gotten funky with me about anything. I've never felt the urge to do that with him, because he is just such a decent person. He's such a good person, and he's such an amazing talent. When I got this idea, he was the first person I called up, and I said, I want to sort of tentatively start this thing. Would you split the bill with me, with my band? And he wrote back to me and he said, I'm in. Just tell me what to do. So I've made a flyer. I'm going to post that right about now. I'll stick that into this video before I release it. And we're getting geared up. I just released the flyer yesterday. I'm going to make the Facebook event today, and I'm going to reach out to the people who know me from before. It's LA. Most of those people will be to the left of center, but they won't be the hard left, crazy left, because those people all have given me the big fuck you, So they won't be around. It'll be the people who are movable a little bit. And I don't want to say that I'm manipulating this in order to move these people, to our side. But I do want to make sure that they are spending some time with conservatives. And I want to do anything I can to encourage all of you to spend some time with liberals. We need to understand how they work. I was watching when I made the Obama thing. I was looking at some of the comments, and so many people said, I'm not listening to anything these people say, or I can't listen to what they say for more than 15 seconds, and I had to shut the video off. Sorry, Dave, can't watch it, not going to watch it. And I think, well, can you imagine going into battle and having no intel about your enemy, having no intel about where they were, how many of them were there, what are their strategies, what are their intentions? Of course not. I mean, the reason that if you're going to change somebody's mind, you have to first understand where their mind is now, and realize, okay, I can let them keep some of that. Let them is the wrong term, but I don't need to change everything about what they're saying. I need to adjust it a little bit so that they begin to hear the rest of my ideas, and that they begin to hear the rest of our ideas and think, okay, these people to the right side of the aisle are not our sworn enemies. I mean, we're all Americans. We're all human beings. So the first one of these shows is going to be on the 30th of November, and I'm going out to Arizona for the van build here in a few days, and I'll be gone for a couple of weeks, and I'll be working on my songs, but we're doing a rehearsal before I leave, and we're going to do a rehearsal when I get back. So those of you who came out and saw me last time, you realize that show was a little loosey-goosey. We hadn't had a chance to rehearse. I was so busy during that period of time, and that was a benefit show, and I was taking it very lightly. But this will be more of a proper presentation of my music, and we'll do a couple of cover songs as well. Because I don't want you guys to just have to listen to my stuff, but some of you bought the album and you get it anyway. So and then Kevin will come on and he'll do his thing, and everybody will. In the break, we will eat. I'm going to make my world famous chili. Is there a guy who makes chili who does not consider it world famous? I don't think so. I'm not that guy. We all are all very proud of our chili, but I've thousands of people have eaten my chili because I've been making it for 20 years around LA, and I've taken it to a lot of events. Well, I would say maybe hundreds of people have eaten it thousands of times. So I don't know how many actual people, but people like my chili, and it's just basic, it's just meat and potatoes chili. It's just not, there's no potatoes in it, but it's just basic stuff. It's nothing fancy. There's no venison in it or anything like that. It's just chili. But we'll have that. We'll have a lot of other food there. And if anybody of you wants to bring along a salad or something you're particularly proud of and throw it out on the food table, I'm not going to stop you. It's going to be $20 to get in because we have to rent the hall. I have to pay all the musicians, who are there, regardless of whether they're in my band or not. Everybody gets paid. And so, so we have to charge admission, of course. So it's going to be $20 to get in, but if you're bringing a friend along, it's only going to be the person you bring, it's $15 for them. All right. But the food's there. There'll be some beer. There'll be some wine. Knowing me, it'll probably be cheap, disgusting wine. So if you have a vintage that you particularly like, bring it along and feel free to hoard it. That's fine with us. What else? I've got my notes here. Anyway, I think you really enjoy it. It's the 30th of November. It's in Pasadena. And what I'd like you to do is, if you're going to come to it, I'd like you to RSVP by writing to me at the email address that's always in the description. It's dmorrisonmusic, all one word, at gmail.com. Just let me know you're coming. That way we can gauge better to how much food and drink we need so that we're not running out or running for pizza at the last minute. So Kevin Fisher, you're really going to love Kevin Fisher. And it's really, in a sense, it's kind of courageous of him to do it because I think he knows what I'm doing, with the channel and stuff. He realizes he's going to be walking into a room that's probably going to be largely full of conservatives. Isn't that nice that we can do that now, that we can put together an event and it's almost all conservatives. We don't have to hide, we don't have to use our drug dealer voice. Yeah, so what do you think of Donald Trump? Wait, somebody can hear us. Let's go in the other room. It's amazing that we've accepted that in Southern California. We've accepted that. Everybody know whenever I meet somebody out, for lunch or whatever, and the minute we start talking about conservative things, we start talking like this, as if we're making a great big deal to smuggle cocaine across the border or something. We don't have to do that in any of these events that I'm having. We'll be on at least equal ground to everybody else who's there, right? I'm going to invite all my friends. So there will be some people there who do not share our ideology, but they won't overwhelm us in numbers, and they wouldn't dare shut us up. Besides, the people that'll come to one of my events are not those kind of people. They're the kind of people that, I disagree with them on this, but they're good people. Anyway, enough of that. I've talked about that. I'm going to put that up. What's my time here? I don't know how long I've been going here. Probably quite a long time. I'm looking at my little control panel over here, and it doesn't tell me how long this thing's been going. Oh, wait a minute. It does. It's long, so I'll shut up soon. The van build is where I'm headed. Next week I'm leaving Thursday, and I will be out there. It's in Parker, Arizona. And what that thing is a guy named Jamie Dimon, who I met through the sort of van world, the converted school bus world, all that kind of stuff. And he does this thing, and he gathers all these resources together, all these people with great skills. I mean, all really literally from carpentry all the way through solar installation to building cabinetry and things like that inside the vans. They do some mechanical work, but mostly it's, conversion work. So, they put in solar installers, they put in solar installations with the controllers and all of that stuff. Even sewing. There's a whole big sewing station so people can get curtains and things made for their vans and school buses and stuff. It's just a bunch of great people, and it's 2 weeks of service. I will be out there. I'm kind of in charge. I'm sort of the music guy out there. So I went out the other day and I bought this. This is a Roland Street Cube. It's 50 watts. And I've got a little, it runs on batteries. So I've got another battery run, a little tiny mixer that's coming that also runs on batteries. So I'll bring a bunch of microphones and mic stands and things, so I can allow people to be heard, because some of the gatherings are pretty big. Some of the campfires, there might be 50, 75, 100 people at some of these campfires. So I'll do this for when I need it, but it's going to be awesome, just get a little reverb on the voice and have a proper microphone with some power behind it. I'm going to be a fucking god out there. Just kidding. But, okay, that's the van build. What else is happening with the channel? Thanks a lot for doing what you can with this. You probably have noticed the van build starts on the 8th of November, by the way. You probably have noticed a lot of videos that are demonetized. You've heard me talk about it a little bit. They seem to be the theory, they demonetize a lot of the videos, and I'm not exactly sure why. The last one that was demonetized was one of the ones that only had sound on one side, and I'm thinking that possibly there may be an algorithm that hears that. And I've had 2 videos that only had sound on one side. I'm learning how to do all this, record sound and record video. I don't know any of this stuff. I don't know how to work these programs, so I'm learning bit by bit. I figured out why that happens sometimes, and I have figured out how to avoid that happening. It's just to switch everything into mono when you start doing your edit. So that won't happen again, but that may have had something to do with them demonetizing, because actually what the demonetization is about, at least theoretically on their point, if they're not being political about it, the demonetization is based on a video that they feel advertisers will be attracted to. And perhaps there is a level of technical, what's the word I'm looking for, but, proper technical presentation. Perhaps there's a level of that advertisers expect, and they feel like, okay, we can't sell this video to people because there's only sound in one. I don't know, because an algorithm might be able to pick that up. I don't know, but if you say anything like war, if you say anything like hatred or anything, if they've got algorithms that spot all this stuff, and they demonetize me immediately. And oftentimes I'll work all day on this thing, and then the video will get demonetized, and then it'll run up to about 30,000 views or something like that. And then the monetization kicks in. Well, that was the money-making period of time there, because now it's going to taper off, and so and we don't make a huge amount of money for monetization. But if I'm to avoid painting houses full time, I have to have some income coming through this, and I don't want to you guys to just feel like you have to send me money all the time. So I just want to explain that to you. And if you hear me grousing about that, I'm working on the issue. We're trying to learn what triggers demonetization, and ultimately, if you put the thing up and you schedule it to go, oftentimes that's when the algorithms will look at it, and oftentimes it'll get demonetized right away. Now, if it's a video that I can wait on and not go ahead and publish for a couple of days, then that gives their people a chance, because you have to appeal the demonetization, and you say, okay, manual review, and they'll actually have a Google employee, a YouTube employee look at it and say, okay, this one's all right, we can monetize this one, it's fine. But if it's something that's really happening right now, like it's something that's right on top of everybody's minds, and I think no one's going to be interested in this topic in 2 days, I don't have time to go through that. So I have to go ahead and put the thing out there, and if it's demonetized, I don't get paid. And I might have worked on that thing for 15 hours. I might have worked on that for 20 hours with the writing and the rewriting and the, my incredibly slow process of getting this room set up and able to, to do a video or driven all the way to Jason's or whatever. And by the time it gets up, the story's already a little bit stale. It's already maybe 24 hours stale. And if it's 3 or 4 more days after that, it's stale entirely. So on the videos that have nothing to do with what just happened in the world, excuse me, I can wait and do. But for the hot topic stuff, you know, you got to get it out there. It's a 24-hour news cycle. It's not relevant. Everybody said everything about it. And if I have something, I go, God, no one's seeing this my way. Boom, I want to get that out and say my particular insight then, you know. But what I want to say about monetization is the way you can help the channel is you can tell people about the channel. The more people we have, the more people are watching, and then on the videos that don't get demonetized, the greater will be our income on those videos, and it'll cover for the times that we get demonetized. And if you want to, you know, buy a coffee mug or something like that, if you want to do that, this is a Blue Collar Logic coffee mug. If you want to buy one of these things, you know, we make a few bucks on those, and every little bit helps. There's a lot of you out there, but the best thing, obviously, is to tell people about the channel, and just help us build that way. We've been stuck here. We're verging on 200,000, but we haven't been, our subscriber base has not been growing that much over the last month. I think that over the last 28 days, I believe we picked up about 2,000 subscribers. So we're not in a really fruitful period of adding subscribers. So anyway, I'm going to end this video now. I'm going to say goodbye to you, and I'm going to play a live video of Kevin Fisher. That was, I believe it was in Sunset Beach about half a year ago, and it's just him with a guitar. And he'll probably will have a bass player with him at the show. The sound will probably be a little bit larger, but just this guy with a guitar and his songs and his ability to tell stories and things like that is plenty anyway. But I'll end it with that so you can get a look at the talent of Kevin Fisher and decide whether you want to come to the show. And I'll expect to hear from you on my email if you're coming. And I look forward to seeing those of you who will be there on the 30th. There will be one more or more reminder between now and then, so y'all don't forget. But hopefully we'll get 100 people out there. And I mean, imagine being in a room in Southern California, because all of you guys, I'm talking really to your Southern California conservatives. Imagine being in a room where you're the dominant force as opposed to the guys that have to whisper. Anyway, it'll be great. And that's it. And let me introduce Kevin Fisher, and have a great day.
My 8-year-old's in 2nd grade, and we love her teacher. So last Friday night we had her over for dinner. First time we talked about something other than education. We learned where she's from and what she's done, her favorite radio station. And when the night was over and she was walking out the door, what a beautiful house, she said. What a beautiful life you have. You got healthy kids, Lord, what I wouldn't give. You got food enough to fill up your table. I hope you're grateful and that you're able to keep life simple, stay faithful. I hope you're grateful. She said she was married at 21 to her best friend and the love of her life, looking forward to having kids and being a loving wife. Ah, but fate throws curves you don't deserve, and it ended all too soon. Still, she's grateful to have a heart full of kids, September to June. The words she said that evening were still floating in the air. What a beautiful house, she said. What a beautiful life you have. You got healthy kids, Lord, what I wouldn't give. You got food enough to fill up your table. I hope you're grateful that you're able to keep life simple, stay faithful. I hope you're grateful. Now late at night, my wife and I look around at the world we've made, and this little house feels like a mansion now, and we're grateful every day for this beautiful house we have, and this beautiful life we live. We're a family, and that's all we need. We tell our kids holding hands around the table, I hope you're grateful that you're able to keep life simple and stay faithful. I hope you're grateful. I hope you're grateful.
Wow.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Kevin Fisher.